Students, welcome to my class. In my today's class, we shall see a case study on Metaland, which was your assignment. On request, I'm just making this video. Metaland is a major manufacturer of light commercial vehicles. It has a very strong R&D center, which has developed very successful models in the last 15 years. So it is an existing company. However, two models developed by it in the last few years have not done well. So they were not able to perform well, but were prematurely withdrawn from the market. The engineers at its R&D center have recently developed a prototype for a new light commercial vehicle, which means they're coming up with a new product, a new vehicle, which says that they have a capacity of 4 tons. After a very lengthy deliberation on it, the board of directors of the company, they decide to carefully evaluate the financial worthwhileness of to understand if they are capable of manufacturing this model, which they have labeled as Meta-4. You have been recently hired as an executive assistant to Vijay Mathur, the managing director of Metaland. Vijay Mathur has entrusted you with the task of evaluating the project. The relevant information is provided to you as Meta-4 would be produced in the existing factory, which means with the existing capacity, which has enough space for one more product. And Meta-4 will require plant and machinery, which will have a cost of 400 million. You may assume that the outlay on the plant and machinery will be incurred over a period of 1 year. So in the beginning of the year. For the sake of simplicity, assume that 50% will be incurred right in the beginning and the balance 50% will be incurred at the end of the year. So 50% of 400 million will be incurred in the beginning and 50% at the end. So by and large, you are incurring and you're investing all of them by the end of the year 1. That's all you have to understand. The plant will commence operation after 1 year. Meta-4 project will require a 200 million towards a gross working capital, which is for the working capital finances. You may assume that the gross working capital investment will occur at the end of year 1. So that is happening only at the end of the year 1. The proposed scheme of financing is as follows: 200 million by raising equity, 200 million by the term loan, 100 million by way of working capital advance, and 100 million through the trade credit. Yeah. So the total amount that you require is 400 plus 200. So 600 million. How do you raise it? 200 million of equity, 200 million of term loan, 200 plus 200 is 400, 100 million of working capital finance, which is 500, and another 100 million, which is a trade credit. So you get 600 together. Equity will come right in the beginning by way of retained earnings. Now what is said is term loan and the working capital advance will be raised at the end of year 1. So this is getting to your business only at the end of year 1, not in the beginning. So after your operation, after 1 year of its operation, you're going to raise this term loan and working capital advance. The term loan is repayable in equal installments, in 8 equal semi-annual installments of 25, which means what is a term loan? Term loan is 200 million. 200 divided by 8 is equal to 25. The first installment will be due after 18 months, which means, see, this is usually the year is for 12 months. But when you repay 25 million, yeah, at the end of the 18 months, you have used it for 1.5 years. You use it for 1 year, 6 months. And the repayment is going to be made and interest will not be charged on the amount what is repaid. The interest rate is 14%. I shall show it in the working note there in the Excel sheet. Let's see that later. The level of working capital advance and the trade credit will remain 100 million till they are paid back at the end of the 5 years. So this is getting repaid only at the end of 5 years. Working capital advance will carry an interest rate of 12% and this is expected to generate a revenue of 750 and operating cost of 525 million. Tax is, for tax purpose, depreciation on the fixed asset is 25%, which is on the WDV method, and there is no tax benefit. Salvage value of the plant and machinery is 100 million and the recovery of the working capital will be at book value. Which means I have told you, right? The salvage value of plant and machinery is 100. Recovery of the working capital will be the value at which it was in the beginning. It'll come back to 100 million only. The tax rate is 30%, and you're asked to actually calculate the cash flow estimates from all the 3 points of view. Okay, so let's see the solution. The solution is this. I will show this partially on the Excel sheet also. So the first thing is you have to understand when we are calculating the net cash flows. I have very clearly told you this is equal to initial investment. Yes. Investment plus operating cash flows plus your terminal cash flow. Now we have to calculate the initial investment. Initial investment from different point of view I've shown in the previous video. You can refer to it. So what is very important for you is the operating cash flow. Okay, so let's see that portion. Okay. Now, from the point of view of whatever, whether it is equity long term, for me to calculate the operating cash flow, first of all, I should know what is the earnings after taxation. So first of all, let us calculate what is earnings after taxation. What is the revenue that you are making? The revenue is, the revenue made during the year is 750. I shall show you the Excel sheet. Yeah. The revenue for the second year, because your your investment is not made in the 0th year. It is an existing business, and your investment with the existing operation, it is starting off with the firm's ability to manufacture that light commercial vehicle. It is at the end of the second year, beginning of the first year, and the end of the first year, investment is made, which means that is the first point. Another point is that you shall, after the investment only, you shall start making the revenue. So we have the revenue which is made during the year, which is 750, 750, 750, 750 and 750. Okay, this is taken for convenience because we have to calculate the interest on term loan. Operating cost which is made during the year is 525, if you just have a look at it. Okay, so if you are not confused, you can push this and write this as 750 here also. That's not a problem at all. Okay, depreciation made during the year. How much is a total investment in plant and machinery? Look at the right side portion. It is 400. And the system that is in place is WDV, and the rate of depreciation is 25%. So therefore, what I have done is 400 into 0.25 is 100. Then again 400 minus 100 is 300. 300 into 0.25 is 75. Now 300 minus 75 is 225. 225 into 25% is 53. And 56.3 is the WDV value. Likewise, I calculated and we got the depreciation as 100, 75, 56.3, 42 and 31.6. Okay. So since you are aware of it, I'm not getting into the details of it. Maybe where you are confused is on the interest on term loan. I'll finish interest on working capital advance. Interest on working capital advance, they very clearly said that the interest made during the, the level of working capital is 100. Yeah. It is working capital advance which will be raised at the end of the year 1. So you'll start paying the interest in the beginning of the year or end the 2. Okay, year end 2. And the percentage of the working capital advance is 12%. So that's what it is. And this is 100. So if you go back to this, that's how we got 12. Okay, 12% on it. Now, interest on term loan is where you may have to understand a little more. Now, see, they very clearly said that the levels of, the term loan and working capital advance will be raised at the end of year 1, and the term loan is repayable 8 equal semi-annual installment of 25 million each. The first installment which is due will be due after 18 months of raising the term loan. The interest rate on the term loan will be 14%. Yeah. So how is that I have taken? Just observe this. At the end of year 1, you're going to raise this amount. Yeah. And 200 divided by 8 installments, you're getting 25. You're going to repay them as 25 year on year. And the rate of interest is 14%. Okay, how did I take this? For the year 2, 200 into 14% is 28. I think you will not have any doubt over it. Okay, however, year 3 onwards, since 25 is paid in the year 3, you will not be charged for the 25 in year 4. So that you have to understand. In other words, when I'm taking the amount in year 1, 25 million is paid in the year 2 itself. So naturally interest on 25 will not be paid. So 200 minus 25 is 200 minus 25 is 175. So how do I take the interest? So when you're coming to the third year, it is 200 into 0.14 or 14% into 6 by 12. Only for 6 months you shall pay. Because much before the third year, 25 million is repaid. I'll have to deduct it from 200. So 200 minus 25 is 175. 175 into 14 by 100 into 6 by 12. For convenience, I've written 0.5. Okay. That is 12.25. So, in the year 3, you shall pay 26.25. Same way, you're going to take the total interest that you shall pay in the year 4. See, in year 4, by the beginning of year 4, you have already paid 25 million. You have repaid 25 million. So what is that left out in year 4 is 150. So 150 into 14 by 100 into 6 by 12 is 10.5. Before the year 4, another 25 gets repaid because it is 18 months. Yeah. So 150 into 14 by 100 into 6 by 12 is 10.5. Whereas to that we have to add back after repaying 25, you shall charge interest only on 125. 125 into 14 by 100 into 6 by 12, which is 8.75, 19.25. That's how we have calculated the interest on term loan. So therefore, the interest on term loan is till it is repaid at the end. The interest on term loan is 28, 26.3, 19.3, 12.3 and 5.3. So after which, you know, it is EBT. After deducting this, we get 85 to 176.1. Tax is deducted at 30%, which is 25.5 to 52.83. And EAT is therefore 59.5 to 123.27. To this, we shall, however, make the adjustment. Adjustment based on the operating cash flow from different perspective. Okay. Now, what shall we do? So we have taken this. If you just go through this. Yeah. So since I have taken the equity point of view, say listen, operating cash flow is after adding back the depreciation. So 159 plus 5, 153. So we're going to just add back the depreciation. That is what we have done.